I want to talk about modifiers. So to begin with, let's describe what these are. I don't have a description in front of me. These are something that I didn't really have access to when I was in the Maya software, so I missed them. So Blender has categorized these into different little subcategories, and so I want to go through each of them. Basically, this is going to alter your object in different ways. So we can start off with something called an array. I'm about to sorry. So an array, it's going to take your object and it's going to replicate it. Now these are going to be object instances, so it's not, if we look at the statistics here, it's still seeing oh, okay, maybe it isn't. I was mistaken all this time. You can go ahead, I think there's a way to anyway, you don't want your scene to have a whole bunch of these at once. You want to be able to use instances of those. So Alt-D, if I edit this one, it's changing that one to, it's just an instance of that object. The good news is, with an instance, you can change and scale and rotate. So anyway, what I was talking about with the modifiers. I don't know what most of these are, I'll be frankly quite honest. I usually use a lot of these ones here. So the bevel does as you'd expect it to do. You can bevel objects, you can set it according to different types. I use weight a lot because then you can set the custom bevel weight and only affects that, which is super handy. The next thing is build. This is a super cool, let's use a subsurf modifier here, because, okay, it'll build it, piece by piece for you. As you can see, the subsurf modifier, by this let's turn on the wireframe. Right now you don't see any wireframe, but now you can see it does wireframe. You can leave it here in simple. Should be, oh, I see what it's doing. It's going to optimize that display so it's not as heavy. It's just going to show, make it easier to work with. The actual geometry there is, or you can just add more geometry that way. With the subdivision modifier, super common. Decimate, if I I were to take this and add a decimate with unsubdivide, the subdivided thing, you go unsubdivide it, and you get, let's try that on this one, decimate, and collapse, just, it reduces count. This is a great way to make LODs, by the way. Can do some interesting effects, creating rocks, low poly rocks. Depending on what you're going for, you can use the different decimate types. Edge split, something like this. It's going to help with the shading. You can really make some shading pop when you're splitting the edges like that. If you don't, so there's that one. Mask, I don't know what mask is. I don't know. We'll use that one. Mirror. I have a special tool that I usually use for this, but you can set it. There we go. It just mirrors along this axis here. You can mirror an object, which is what I did earlier. I had an empty and it mirrored the object. Use the object as the mirror origin point, which is super great. This will merge. Anyway, I don't want to spend too long on each of these. This is more for using tessellation and sculpting for higher grade stuff, and you can do high resolution characters. Get the tessellation detail in at render time, but keep things low poly while you're animating. It's higher grade stuff. It's difficult to put into action, but it's incredible when you do. And if you're doing films, you need it. So use it once or twice effectively. Remesh is really cool. It'll take something and it will try to remake it. Depending on the type you use here, you got to be careful with this. You can really bog your system down. This is super handy. Screw modifier. This is it's one of those weird ones. It's super powerful, but I'm not exactly sure often how to use it well. But again, it's powerful. So there's different videos people have made to use this thing. Different iterations there. You have to mess with it in some cases. A lot of cases, you have to mess with things. Simple deform. Oh shoot, I haven't used this one much, but and this is, yeah, sometimes, oh yeah, that's cool. See, I never use that. That's super helpful. Smooth. Let's see if we get that one on this one here. Smooth factor. Smooth things out. Smooth corrective. Guessing it has to do. It's a more advanced version of smooth. Let's see if we can get that one. Okay, this is one of those things where I want to run into a project where I'm going to actually utilize that thing, and it's going to be super handy, but it's a localized case. So it's one of those things where you have to just experiment and figure out, or YouTube and discover what someone else has done with it. Where are we at? We were skin. So you can make an armature with this, which is really cool. Kind of seems like wireframe is the... Huh, okay. Yeah, because wireframe, it takes your object and it just makes a mesh out of the edges, out of the geometry. So same here with wireframe. You're going to get the wireframe geometry creating. That's what your geometry is going to turn into. Let's see, what are we at next? Triangulate's cool. For game engines that automate the triangulation process, you can triangulate it here. Volume to mesh. Did it just... Oh, I see what it did. Again, I haven't... Oh, this is using volumes. Takes about voxels.